Hey, welcome all aboard Wisdom today. Roxy Carter. I'm going to even tell you what the topic is right off the top. It's going to be God's astrology. Now, godly astrology is not pagan astrology. I really got to clear that up for you. There is a big difference. People like to throw everything into a mix. That's not really true. There was a reason why the creator went and threw all them balls and planets up into the sky. He don't do anything just for the heck of it or for giggles. So when God did create 12 different astrological signs of people, he put them into four groups: earth, air, water, fire. Earth, air, water, fire. Why would he pick earth, air, water, fire? Why? Because all the elements on this planet are made up of earth, air, water, fire. Those are the main ones, of course. So when he decided to create people, let us make man in our image, and he formed him out of the dirt and he breathed breath into him. The thing is, they were made out of earth, air, water, and fire. It was all the elements that were the main ingredients of this earth and this planet. So he created, there's 12 different signs. If you want to be technical, there's 12 months of the year. There's 12 tribes of Judah. The 12 is actually in almost all world religions. It is a holy number. It has a very specific meaning to each different group. So, and everything is that he created has to do with the elements. So when I'm going to talk to you today about godly astrology. We're not looking into a crystal ball. We don't have a big, woo thing kind of going on. That's not what we're talking about at all. We're talking about the type of astrology that you can use that the ancients taught. And this is when the people used to come into ancient Greece from Rome, from all over, and they were scholars and they were teaching them two major words: know thyself. So Socrates, Plato, all the smart boys back in ancient times, and I love, I'm going to say it again. I'm Greek, so I'm going to ring the bell, ding-a-ling for the Greeks here. They knew that the most important thing out of life, to get anything right, to get anything there is right and on track, you have to know thyself. So in knowing thyself, you have to know what you're made out of. So we're not saying, nationality wise or genetics, but you've got to know yourself. We got to know the core of who we are. And the creator spelled it out really easily for us. He said, I'm going to spell this out very, very easily for you. The creator loves to do Sesame Street because not everybody is genius high IQ level. So he broke it down into four basic groups. You're either an earth, air, water, or fire personality, the core of who you are, who I am. It comes down to personality. It comes down to your style of thinking. So I want you, before we really get going, I have said in other podcasts, unless you missed them, and if this is your first one, then, probably start doing this. I would really advise it. Get a little notebook. Go to the dollar store, wherever you want, get a notebook. Keep it so only for these podcasts, and also get a pack of pens. So if one pen runs out of ink, I say that all the time, you don't have an excuse for not taking notes on this. So we're going to look at a thing called, and when I used to do the TV and radio shows and had my own hosted show, I used to do segments on how you were emotionally, physically, spiritually, monetarily, everything about you wired by whether you were earth, air, water, or fire. So we're going to call it elementary yours. Elementary yours is your personal fingerprint on how you think, feel, and believe, your pattern based on earth, air, water, fire. Now, I know these traditional astrologers will say, well, where is your planet? Where is this? What is the conjunction? What is this? We're not trying to do a planetary lineup. We're giving you some really basics anybody could do. So if you got a pen, you got some paper, I would hope you're not just scribbling it on, your arm or on the back of a placemat or something. But it's earth, air, water, and fire, and you are one of those patterns. Now, I'm going to break it down for you because you're not just that if you're born the last week of any month. So if you didn't come out of an egg and you're a real breathing human being, you're not a chicken or a goose or something else, you are going to be born under one of the elements. But if you are born the last week, hypothetically, let's just call it the last week. Okay, the last week of any month, you're going to be a mix. You're going to be a blend. You're going to be, as astrologers would call it, a cusp. So what is a mix? Okay, here is a mix. So let's just say you're born the last week of any of the months. There's only 12 of them, so you're one of them. Okay, that's if you're born the last week approximately of a month. So let's just say my little dog, and she's a toy poodle. But if I mixed her with a Pekingese, she would be a peekapoo. You see what I'm saying? So if I took a Labrador and mixed it with a poodle, it'd be a Labradoodle. So it no longer is just that purebred, it's going to have other things in there. So when the Greeks and the ancients said, know thyself, you got to know your mix. Now, if you're born the first 3 weeks of any month, you got 12 months, okay? So one of them you were born under. You really were. Again, if you weren't hatched, you were born. The first, hypothetically, 3 weeks of any month, you are a straight sign. And my favorite joke is, straight doesn't mean you're not straight or gay. We're never talking about straight or gay. We're just saying you're very much of a purebred straight sign, very true to standard if you're born in one of those first 3 weeks. If you're born the last week of any month, you're going to pick up, besides being a straight sign, we're going to mix a little something else in with the mix of what that other element is before it. Let me give you an example. So astronomically, in case you're wondering, I am an Aries, and maybe that would explain a lot of things about me. But as an Aries, I'm born the end of March. So even though I'm Aries, which is usually the first 3 weeks of April, being I come sliding in the end of March, I'm going to have a little bit of Pisces mixed in there. And the element for Aries is fire. So I am, boom, bam, predominantly fire. That's the truth. I mean, you can kind of figure something like that was going on. But you also have to understand there's a mixture of taming some of that fire down in me because we take a cup of water and we're mixing it in with the fire. So that is a fire sign with a water mix because I'm born the end of a month. So that's just as a kind of an example. I'm going to give you the time frames and elements so you'll find out if you're earth, air, water, and fire. And I'll actually tell you approximately when those time frames are. Okay, so let me get started. So basically, let's talk about the earth groups. The earth, the core elements, the personality, different things about the earth people. That's Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. One more time, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. That is the earth. So if you are born those first 3 weeks of that sign, okay, then what you would be is a very pure sign. If you were born that last week of the month before, you're going to be a mix of whatever that is also. So we're going to talk about the earth signs. One thing about them, we know they're going to be very, how do I want to say, dutiful. They're going to be dutiful people. To actually sometimes where they don't cut their own throat because they are too dutiful, because they are not careful who they're giving their time and energy to. They don't have a lot of patience for people screwing up and messing up or doing things any different than they want to see it done. They don't want to see it done any different than they have a preconceived. So Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgos have a very pre-set conceived idea how they want things to be done. Now, if they notice that you're not going to do it, or you're playing dumb, or you just really are like a slower learner on things, the first thing most of them will say is, here, just give it to me. Let me do it. Just give it to me. Now, people who are lazy butts, and there are a lot of lazy butts, are very attracted to people who are saying, just give it to me, let me do it. Because if they just hand it to somebody else and let them do it, which is your Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo, it gets done how the Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo wants it done. They're an earth group. Problem is, these other people usually don't come back and pick up where they left off. and they leave the Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo to be stuck doing all the work with it. Now, the real smart, or I call it the cunning people, so I don't think it's very smart. It's not even nice to be a con job person. But those people who are con job people will say to the Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo, "Oh my God, you do such a good job at it. Oh my heavens, you are so smart, you Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. You are so smart. Oh my gosh, I wish I was smart like you. I better let you do it because you do it perfectly and you don't mess it up." Now, the Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo, those earth sign individuals, that's their element, their earth, they are feeling very proud of themselves and thinking, wow, I got this done how I wanted. I don't have to lose my patience waiting for you to do it or to get it right. Problem is, in life, everything gets shoved in their direction, whether it's at work, in their marriage, in their home, with their kids, in relationships. They're a one-person team. They're doing it all while everybody else is sitting there blowing bubbles, having bubble gum, watching TV, playing video games or whatever else is going on. And there they are, sweating bullets, going around doing all the work. And as they get older, your earth element people, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo, they become very resentful. We're going to talk a whole other podcast on resentful because it will affect your health. Moving on, let's look at a different group of people. We just looked at the earth people, earth, air, water, and fire. And in other episodes on podcasts, we're going to go in very deeply, but that's your element. So just keep that in mind. Now, if we go to the next one, air individuals, air element individuals, they act very much like air. What does that mean? Well, who are they first? They are your Gemini, your Libra, and Aquarius. Gemini, Libras, and Aquarius. Okay, so there's 3 in each group. What happens with them, they move very quickly. They think very quickly. They have patience 0. Okay, just give it to me. Let's hurry up. Let's move on. I don't care. Let's just get her done. You know that funny hillbilly guy that does those comedy shows? Get her done. Get her done. Well, they just want to get her done. Okay, just here, let's get her done. I don't have patience for this now. When they run into, again, this is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, when they run into a problem, an issue, or something really stumps them, or it stumps them, or it's very straining and draining on them, they overthink about everything. They overly think. They don't underly think, they overthink. Now, when they overthink, they wear themselves out. So you're Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. We know they're analyzers. They pulverize. They think and think and think. They wear themselves out. So when it comes time, here's the key word, when it becomes time to act, to carry something out, they are so flip and exhausted. They got their head banging on the table because they're going, I am so tired. You know what? I'm going to pick this up tomorrow. Well, what happens, they end up being procrastinators and things get moved to the rear because the next day something new happens. And then they say, oh, I'm thinking about that now. I'm planning on that. Now I got a lot on my plate and now everything gets moved to the back burner. I'll handle that tomorrow. Now they've got 2 days worth of things, more issues pile up, and they get overwhelmed. So we do know your Gemini, your Libra, and your Aquarius get overwhelmed, and yet they act like it doesn't bother them. I got it. Now, if you go to really remind them. And a lot of people come on and say, you said you're going to do this. Or what's worse, what's a real nightmare to the Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius is when you say, you said you were going to do this. When were you going to get this done? Holy cow. They may take a deep breath if they got good self-control. Yeah, don't worry about it. Or their favorite word is with that element of air. I'm working on it. Oh, I got it covered. I'm working on it. Don't worry about it. I got it all under control. No, they don't. They don't even know where to dive in, where to begin, or whatever, but they don't want you to remind them. So if you're one of these nagging, type, did you do it? You said you're going to do it. When are you going to do it? I don't see you doing it. These people can come unhinged and glued. And here's a big thing. When you start bugging them about when they're going to do something, how they're going to do it, and you put pressure on them, what does air do? They're the element air sign, okay? What does air do? When it gets too much, it's like a cloud, air pulls away, air blows away. So if a your Gemini, your a Libra and Aquarius start to find you a pain in the rear end, a pain in the rump, agitating. Did you, when are you going to do this? What you said, yeah, and you keep staring at them and, put them under a microscope. They can start to avoid you. They can stay away. They won't answer your phones, your texts, whatever. I mean, you make them home one day and all their suitcases are packed and they're gone because they do not want to be put under the pressure. Their favorite thing is, I will blow away because I need to get away from it. That's what it is. I got to blow away. And when I come back, then I'll deal with it. But when they start to deal with it, most things in their life have piled up because they let them go. Not because they were lazy. They are far from lazy. They're quick, they're fast, they're thinking. They get the picture faster than most people. They really do. Those air people are amazing. Problem is, they get so exhausted. Here's the key. They get so mentally up here in the head exhausted from thinking and thinking and planning and thinking and, oh my God, and staring at it, that when they're so tired, they're too tired to carry it out, what they got to do. They go to bed and they wake up in the morning with all the best intentions. They really have the best intentions. And you know what? They might even stay there all night staring at the ceiling, thinking about it. But you know how every day brings its own problems, every day brings its own situations, yada, yada, yada. Now they wake up and all those things they were going to handle, they were going to do, now that has to move back further and further and further down the list. And the longer they do this, which they are traditionally known for doing, they get overwhelmed and they have a lot of nervous issues because many times there's nowhere to run. I mean, you're going to run from your mate, or you're going to run from your boss, you're going to run from your kids, and they get overwhelmed because air needs to blow away and they're stuck many times. So this is something that's very important. Now let's move on to the next group. The next group is your fire individuals. Your fire individuals are Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Those are the fire elements. Okay, so far we did the earth, then we did the air ones. Now here's the three that are in the group of fire. These people, they don't like to get bored. They usually have energy in places that, even they didn't know they have energy. They could look dead 1 minute like, oh, I'm going to take a nap, I'm tired. And the next minute, it's like somebody just gave them nitro fuel and they're back up and running. They're usually always up for a good time. They really like to go, do. And they are really very good at mixing work and pleasure. Unless something really, really bad, dysfunctional happened to them in life, they are really good. I work hard, I play hard. I work hard, I play hard. And I am one of the fire signs because I am Aries. And there is nobody who works harder than me. I'm telling you, I'm like a freaking octopus sometimes. But let me tell you, when I play very hard. When I'm not working, that cell phone is off. There is just no way you're going to reach me. And when I get home, that's called an answering machine, and I'll find out what it was all about. So the thing is, they do work hard, they play hard, and they're always going to give themselves that extra time to do it. They're also, out of all the groups, they have a little child inside them that rarely dies. Even if they had a dysfunctional or a hard background, your fire element individuals, there's something about them, this little spark, because they're fire, they have that spark in them. They still can stay alive no matter what has happened to them. You might even hit them with water or throw dirt on them, or some really wild stories and things have happened in their life. But these fire individuals, which are your fire individuals, which I was saying are Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo, they have this spark. They can come back after some very big things. And the thing is, they really can have a really good sense of humor, or they can look at things, even horrible things that have happened, and find something ridiculously funny about it. And that's the thing that keeps them going. But they're very, very strong. It's very hard to put out their fire. Moving ahead, so we can move on quickly, because I have so many other podcasts lined up to teach you and everything. Let's look at the water people, because these are the people, and I'm giving you all the very core straight signs. I'm not giving you any of the mixes. These are all people of those signs born the first 3 weeks of those months. The last of the group are your water group. These are the emotional people. These are your Pisces, your Cancer, and Scorpios. Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpios. That is traditionally what astrology calls them. I'm using God's astrology, so I'm only going to look at them through through their elements, what their elements do. Because what is it about water? Sometimes water don't always have boundaries. They go too far. They go too far. And what happens sometimes when they do, they overflood things in their life because their emotions are so strong. They got the strongest emotions and the deepest emotions, shallow areas. Sometimes they're very shallow and other times they're very, very deep. But what happens to these individuals, they can overflow their boundaries. And if somebody is mean to them, they're pushing them, whatever it is, it's amazing because they're so deep. And because they have a certain fluidity to them, they actually stay in relationships with toxic people, bad people, angry people, because they just kind of go deep into the water and then they feel when it's safe, well, then I can come back up. I mean, I can tolerate things. Now, again, these things that I'm talking to you about are, again, really, really basic. This is not your standard astrology. This is just looking at things called elementary yours, earth, air, water, and fire. So I do want you to stay tuned for other podcasts because I'm going to be also looking at the mixes. Again, what is a mix? When you are born the last week of any of the 12 months and you mix what's that we want to call it the sign or the element before that one would be, then you are a mix of that. So it's like adding a cup of that to the other majority of what you already are. So there is so much to it. Remember, God did make the stars and the planets. They didn't just pop up there by themselves. Everything the Creator made, there is a reason for it. But we are not to worship them. We are not to make, big golden images to all this stuff. He made the moon. He made the sun. He made the plants. Everything he made for a reason. And we're also going to look at podcasts of what happens during the different moons. This will blow your mind because I had to do an article in a newspaper about what happens during full moons versus new moons and half slice moons. It's just amazing how all this affects everything of us mere people down here on earth. Well, if you enjoyed today, it would mean the world to me. It would mean so much to me if you'd be kind enough to come to this podcast and hit where it says share. That's going to keep a whole bunch of these going. It's going to make these go worldwide. This is going to be just tremendous teaching to other people, and it's going to help ease a lot of their issues and what's going on. Why do they feel like they do? Relieve a lot of the pressures and questions they have. So if you would be kind enough, and it's just going to keep these going and going and going, all because you just take your finger and hit share. And then also, if you would just simply subscribe, that means that you're going to be somebody that's going to be watching these all the time. And boy, do I have so much for you. It really is so much all for you, about you, from me. Much love. May the stars and the planets and God and the reason he made all these wonderful things always work in your favor. Knowledge is power. So stay tuned to my pods. Thanks. Have a great day.